Well, here we are. Episode 170. 170 episodes of Milk Crates and Turntables. Yeah, and tonight, I don't know how this is going to go. I think it's just me. And I'm going to be talking about my 10 essential albums that everybody should listen to before they go up to that great turntable in the sky. So sit back, relax, enjoy my list of my top 10 essential albums. It's pretty eclectic, I gotta say. Maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll disagree. We'll find out.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
The KLFB studio presents Milk Crates and Turntables, a music discussion podcast hosted by Scott McLean. Now, let's talk music. Enjoy the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. What's that? Hold on.
I'd like to do a song for you right now called LB's Truth, and don't you ever forget it.
All right, I won't forget it. All right. This is paid sponsor. All right. Sounds interesting. Well, you know the name of the podcast. I'm not going to say it. Streaming live right now over everything. Coast to coast, all around the world. What do we got here? I'm down with the get down. Oh, shit, I'm down with the get down. What do we got?
1, 2, 3.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, okay. That got cut off pretty fast. Get rid of that. Pick this up where it left off. What? Yeah. This is the laid-back country picker.
When old James Brown rolled into town, he brought the funky sound and everybody got down. The Stanley Bros went nose to nose. They played 1,000,000 shows and kept them on their toes.
Yeah! Ah, shit! This is some get-down music right here. Start this motherfucker off good. Yeah. Todd the Wet Sprocket. Big head Toad the Red Sprocket. Says, I'm here entertaining, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Said I'm down with the get down. What else we got here? What?
When Jimmy H took me to that place up in outer space, I still see his face. The Motorhead put them all to bed, but like Lemmy said, they're all dead.
Yeah! This is the mood I'm in tonight. Yeah, it sounds homemade because it's raw. This is some raw shit. Yeah. That's LB's Truth, live at the Down Home Grill. You don't know nothing about that. You don't know nothing about that. That's a raw, gritty shit right there. Yeah. LB's Truth. Thank you, my friend. Jamming tonight. Yeah, well, so like I said, welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. I'm so glad you could attend. Come inside. Again, we're streaming live over everything. Blah, blah, blah. Same stuff every week. Just a different topic. Now, speaking of topics, Patty Yossi, number one fan, I would say. That might insult Big Head Todd the Wet Sprocket, but I don't care. She said, I thought you were doing underrated singers. Well, I did too. But, nah. I reserved the right. I changed it up tonight. I'm doing, like I said, what I think are top 10 essential albums you should listen to before you go to the big record store in the sky. And again, this is always subjective. People are going to say, huh, what? And, you know, so what is an essential album, right? What's an essential album? Essential album, basically, let's see what let me see. You know what? I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to see what AI thinks an essential album is. Let's see how that goes. What is an essential album? Let's see what AI says. Essential album is typically one that has made a significant impact on music culture, influencing artists, genres, and listeners over time. These albums often showcase artistic innovation, lyrical depth, and musical excellence. For example, the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, Michael Jackson's Thriller, Nirvana's Nevermind are considered essential because of their groundbreaking contributions to music and their lasting legacy. Let me move this over. Let me get the chat up on the board here so everybody can see their chats. There you go. The definition can vary based on, let's get that out of there. Based on personal taste, cultural background, and musical genre, but the common thread is their importance to the music landscape. So that is an essential album. So basically, essential albums cover some ground. It could be what the industry and what the general public think is essential, or what the listener thinks is essential. And in this case, it's the listener, but although some of these albums may be widely considered an essential album, I don't know. You make the call. Now, throughout the show, for the people that are watching the live stream, now there's a difference. There's a difference between your favorite album and an essential album. Your favorite, like the Pretenders' debut album, is one of my favorite albums. I don't think it's an essential album. I don't think it changed anything. It's a classic album, but essential is, and I have 10 albums here that are pretty much totally different albums. So my thought process on essential is something that covers, these albums cover a wide range. So are essential albums, could they be considered your desert island albums? You know, your 10 desert island albums? Could be. We don't know. It's all up to you. Marie Martin says Library of Congress has a lot of them. They certainly do. Big Head Todd the Wet Sprocket says, hey, where's Jack? And I'm going to say, I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah. So that's what AI, which we, by the way, because of our current president, the United States is going to be the world leader in AI technology. That's very important. Believe it or not, it's very important. So let's get ahead of that curve. Now I have a whole, that could be a whole episode on the pros and cons of AI. Let me see. Marie Martin says Americana is the first thing that I think of. Okay, absolutely. That could be how you consider it an essential album. Now, a lot of people might not think Thriller is an essential album. Thriller, Big Head Todd DeWitt Sprocket commented in essential albums, you mean like Don Johnson's Heartbeat? Hey, listen, if that's in your collection of essential albums, I'm all for it if you can explain to me why. That's the key. How do you explain why? It's now the why doesn't have to be this in-depth, deep dive into what makes this an essential album. Again, essential covers it's I think what it boils down to is what I think you should listen to. These are 10 albums that I suggest that I think are essential because of the quality, the production, the just the whole the time it came out. What was the shift going on at that time? And I'll play a couple tracks, maybe at least one track from each song. I'll kind of give you a little dabble of what's in there. Now, you're not going to like some of these. I know that already. I already know. You're not going to like some of these albums. Because it's not your thing, because it's not your genre or your taste. Like I said, it's my essential albums, what I think you should listen to. And being an extremely well-rounded music listener, and I'm big into diversity. Is that dead now? Is that word dead too? I have a very eclectic taste in music. So that's what I think. If you were going to listen, like I could give you, some people could say, oh, yeah, essential albums, Led Zeppelin 1, Led Zeppelin 4, Led Zeppelin, you could just name off 10 Led Zeppelin or 5 of those and 5. Well, that's your choice. I think it should be spread out. I think it should be. And give you a well-rounded view. So, with that said, let's jump in. And these are not in any particular order because essential albums, it's not a top 10. It's a my 10. There's a difference there also. So let me line this up first. And like I said, YouTube puts copyrights on these things now because I play music, but they never take it down. So that's good. So far, so good. I haven't had any copyright strikes against my channel. So, and YouTube, Facebook, I don't even know what they do now. I don't know what they do. So, the first album that I'm going to say is an essential album in my list is the 1965 album by Frank Sinatra called September of My Years. This is a fucking pure, perfect album. Now, a perfect album doesn't necessarily make it essential. Again, I'm going to really press that because people are going to say, that's not, I don't care. Some of these are perfect albums, and a perfect album to me, I've always said this, is an album that you can listen from the first song to the last song. Now, remember, we're talking albums here. Back in the day, if you had an album, most of them, you're not listening to every track. You jump. You have to get up, move the needle to the next song, jump over 2 songs to get to that song. Very few of us would sit through an album that we're just not really into, a quarter of the songs. So, yeah, so September of My Years. It's also an extremely poignant album, too, because it does cover your life. It covers a young man's life. It really tells a great story. The whole album tells a story. This, though, this is the song. Now, I don't know about you, but I can relate to this. I really can. You kind of, this might be a song where you think of your dad. You think of your dad back in those days. I don't know. You can, as a young man, I could put myself in a lot of these, but the song that I'm taking off this album is this one. Definitely getting a copyright hit on this. It's a fucking perfect song, too.
When I was 17,
right?
It was a very good year.
It's amazing.
It was a very good year for small town girls and soft summer nights.
Yeah, I'll end up listening to the whole thing and I can't.
We'd hide from the lights.
Yeah, go listen to this album.
On the village green.
What else do we have?
When I was 17.
Let's get into this one. This is the title cut. First song in the album. And it's called September of My Years.
One day you turn around and it's summer. Next day you turn around and it's fall. And the springs and the winters of a lifetime.
Yeah. Essential album. Absolute essential album. Go listen to it. Take this list down. I'll probably list this on Facebook anyways. I'll probably throw the list and get, of course, ridiculed, because nothing on Facebook goes without getting ridiculed, does it? Yeah. So that's my first album. 1965's September of My Years by the late legend. You can't even say great. The late legend, Frank Sinatra. I'll do a 10-1, but like I said, it doesn't mean that this is anything. I'll just say my second. I'll say my second album, essential album that I think everybody should listen to, is called, or it's by, and it's actually the name of the album. Let me line it up first so I can segue right into a song. Gotta find it here. Here we go. It's Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes featuring Theodore Pendergrass, later to be called Teddy Pendergrass. And the name of that album is To Be True. Another perfect album. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes featuring Theodore Pendergrass. The album is called To Be True. And this is one of the best songs on the album. Here we go. This is a young Teddy Pendergrass.
Used to have lots of fancy clothes.
Teddy! Fuck!
And drive a big fine Cadillac.
Damn! That motherfucker can sing!
These things, my friends would stab me straight in my back. No,
Yeah.
no. Even had a house there. Out there in Beverly Hills.
Essential album.
Moving so fast, yo. I didn't even have
Absolutely.
to worry about paying my bills. My life started being red.
Let's see. Get rid of that. Yeah, such a great album, man. And this was, again, so what you had, this came out in 75, and what you had was Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes were Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Then they went deep, and they got this lead singer. They get this young cat named Theodore. It's not, I mean, his voice, I don't know. I recently had a kind of a conversation with somebody, and it was like Marvin Gaye or Teddy Pendergrass. And, you know, Marvin, they say he's got the perfect voice, but I don't know, man. Teddy, I don't know. I could lean in Teddy's direction. Just that voice, man. Yeah. So that's my second album. I think is essential. Once again, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes featuring Theodore Pendergrass. To Be True. Oh, my friend.
I'm looking on. I'm looking on.
I mean, this is upbeat music, too. It's some Philadelphia music right there. That's some Philadelphia music. And Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes on their own were fucking good, too. When you bring Teddy into the mix, well, then forget about it then. All right. Now, this album, my third album on the list, is, it is on the list of one of my favorite albums of all time. I think it's, and you've heard me say this a lot of times, I think it's David Bowie's best album. I think it's David Bowie's best album. This one came out in 75 also. And it's I'll just play the title track. David Bowie's Young American gets so overlooked. Absolutely overlooked. Absolutely overlooked. It gets overlooked by Ziggy Stardust, Diamond Dogs, Aladdin Sane. But the reason I say this is an essential album also is because of the transition that he made from glam rock into this blue-eyed soul type sound. And he never went back to glam rock again. Never went back to glam rock again. Like he did it. He peaked at it. He made it. He turned it into what it was. You know, he was part of that little group of glam rock legends, T-Rex and a few others. But when he did Young Americans, I tell people, you got to go listen to this album again. If you haven't listened to it, probably some of you haven't listened to it in 50 years, you know? Let me see. 95, 2015, 2000. Yeah. So this album's 50 years old this year. Jesus. So maybe 40 years you haven't listened to it. But it's definitely an essential album that you should go out and listen to. You can't go wrong. I mean, this is one of my this also has, of course, so the album starts off with Young Americans, and the last track on the album is Fame. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Like, could you have better bookends on an album? Think about that. Could you have better bookends in an album? Start off with Young Americans, you end with Fame. Really? Fucking great is that? And it's great. There's one song that I'm not really keen on, which stops it from, it's about a 99% perfect album. He does this fucking version of Across the Universe that doesn't fit in the album. It doesn't fit. This is like something that should have been on Aladdin Sane or doesn't fit. It's a horrible cover. But this is my favorite album on favorite song on the album. It's called Win. I'm telling you, this is essential. Like I said, this is where his career just went in a whole nother direction, and he never looked back. So that's my third essential album. All right, now this fourth one, doing this wasn't easy. Like thinking of these albums and trying to put them into a perspective of like essential. This album, turn that off. This album came out of nowhere. It really did, and it launched her. It launched her career. It's to me a perfect album. Every song on it, from front to back, can be listened to. It's a great driving album. A lot of people. She's really known. It's Sinead O'Connor. She's known for Nothing Compares to You, and that. But this album, The Lion and the Cobra, is an absolute. It came out in '87. It's an absolute gem, and it's Irish rock, but it's Irish rock in a whole different sense. Like she stood out from the crowd. She really did. Yeah, with all her druthers, push all that shit aside. You can judge her all you want, but the funny thing is after she died, these fucking pieces of shit all came out of nowhere. Like, oh, Sinead, you were so great. It's like, fuck you. You know what? Fuck you. You shit on her because what? She tore up a picture of the Pope. Yeah, America was upset. Get over it. And they did. And then all of a sudden she's crazy and she's bipolar and she's doing this, and people like nobody went to fucking help her. Like she could tell you that. Well, she did say that. So, the people are like, oh, Sinead, I feel so bad. Fuck you. You know what? This is a situation where I really, truly believe only if you're a true fan, you know what I'm talking about. It's like Bandwagon, If you didn't know anything about her and then she dies, she kills herself. And it's like, oh, she was so great. Yeah, well, she fucking was. She really was. Talented, but crazier than a sprayed roach. That's the only way I could put it. But let me see. There's some fucking good songs on this. Let me see. This is the kickoff song.
Jackie left on a cold dark night, telling me he'd be home.
This is such a moody album. It really is moody. The production in it is fucking top notch. And her voice was pure. And she could hit a few octaves.
I remember the day the young man came, said your Jackie's gone, we are lost in the rain.
Yeah, real moody album. But essentially because she stood out. Yeah, great album, man. Let me see. It's one of these songs that really.
I remember it.
Yeah, it's just a great album.
Dublin in a rainstorm.
Go listen to it. Go listen to it.
In the long grass in summer,
The Lion and the Cobra.
keeping warm. I remember it. Every restless night.
This is like again,
We
I
were so young then, without
it just puts you in a mood. That's another reason, like albums like this, when an album can put you in a mood, how fucking powerful is that, right? All right. Yeah, so that's my my fourth album. So I have September of My Years, Frank Sinatra, To Be True, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes featuring a young Theodore Pendergrass, David Bowie's Young American, Sinead O'Connor, The Lion and the Cobra. That's what, 4? All right. Now, the fifth one, if you know me, you had to know that this was coming. This group had to be in it. They had to be in one of my essential albums, or I would not do it justice. But the name of the album came out in 85. So you see this, right? You see Bowie and Teddy, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Those albums came out in like the 70s, 75. I think they both actually came out in 75. Yeah. Sinatra, that album came out in the 60s. So I'm kind of building up. Now this came up into the 80s. You know, this one came out in 85. And let me see. Let me see something. Hold on 1 second. I don't know. This didn't come out right. So, all right. Well, let's see. Let's go over here. And da-da-da. No. How did that happen? See, this is what happens when you do it live, right? So, yeah. It's I don't know why this is doing this. My laptop's acting up. And I just got it back too. Just got it back. Fucking thing. Let me see. No, I had it right. I had it, yeah. Let's go back over here. Go back over here. So this album came out, it's The Smiths, Meat is Murder. Meat is Murder. And it's highly regarded. And the Smiths are just so influential. I mean, this is just there's a toss up between this and The Queen is Dead. All their albums are great. But Meat is Murder is one of those standout albums. You know, this is let's see. Also has a great album cover too. Can't really see it. My camera's not going to focus on it too well. Plus the screen on my phone is a little. But Meat is Murder is the name of the album. Oh, I got kicked off of Facebook, huh? Let me see something. Hold on. I was wondering what happened. I think I got kicked off of Facebook. Let's see. Your video's blocked. Yeah. No, I should still be on. I'm watching it right now. Oh, I got kicked off of Facebook. See, I'm on Facebook. But they must have dropped me. Because I was wondering why everything just stopped. So I'm going to share it right now. I'm going to reshare this. See what happens. So this is what happens when you play music. Big Ed Toddowitz Sprocket said he got kicked off of Facebook. Couldn't find the show. Now I'm live on YouTube. So let me see something. Yeah. Nobody's watching. No, I got kicked off. I got kicked off of Facebook. Oh, interesting. Interesting. But I'm still watching it, so I don't know what they did. Let me do something here. Let me share it and see if it comes up again. Because all of a sudden I saw what they did. Yeah, all of a sudden I saw let me share it and see if that does anything. Because all of a sudden I just saw numbers just disappear and I was like, I didn't think the show was that bad. I think it was that bad. But I don't know. Let me try to comment in on my own podcast. Sorry for the interruption, but you people seem to like when shit goes bad. Let me see. Comment. XXX. Let's see. See if it comes up. Nope. Can't even comment. Okay. All right, so let's do this. This is live streaming, people. This is what happens. Let me go to my channel. Share. No, not that one. Cancel. So I'm going to fix this. Fuck them. My videos. Let me see. Let me see. View all. This is interesting. Sorry for the podcast listeners, but I just have this thing where I get stuck in this and so I'm live right now, so let me share this. Facebook. Share and see what happens over there. See if people pick it up over there. Let me go over here. With the break in the action. This is like, I was halfway through, really, so. You know what it was? It was that fucking Frank Sinatra song, I bet you. I knew I played too much of it. All right, well, here we go. So I'm going to go back to the share over there, Facebook. Post it. All right, we'll see what happens. See if people pick it up on, not that it matters. Halfway done anyways. Halfway there. All right, pressing on. All right, so that was my number 5 essential album. Now it's going to get a little controversial because people aren't going to like this. But again, I have to cover all the bases. And this was an album that changed a genre, so to speak. This album by Public Enemy came out in 1988. I remember when it came out. I was in the Philippines. This shit just was like, yeah, this changed rap, actually. And again, people aren't into it, but to me, this is an essential album because of the impact that it had. Had a big impact. And let me see. What do I want to pull out? This song right here. This is the fucking jam right here.
London, everybody in the house make some noise.
Yeah.
I want everybody in the
Another
house
good album cover
to
too.
say, "Ho!"
Yeah.
Kick it to 'em, man.
A ballad behind bars, or you could say real rock from the rock. An unusual musical happening in a
In
most
an
unusual
unusual
place.
place.
The state prison
That's a
I got a
sample.
letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. It said they were
Suckers.
They wanted me for their army or whatever. Picture me giving a damn. I said never. Here's a land that never gave a damn.
The name of the album is "It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back." This was a game changer. Yeah, this was a game changer. right here in the rap world. They were just some serious shit, and they weren't in there. You know, they didn't have to swear. They didn't have to say bitches and hoes. They didn't do all that shit. They had a message. They got it across effectively and uniquely. And Public Enemy, they're legends in the rap world, anyways. So, but when this broke, that was it. And you got this. So this song was actually a cover with Public Enemy.
Yo, Chuck, these honey drippers are still front on us. Show them that we can do this, cause we always do this. Yeah, boy.
Bass, how low can you go? Death row.
What a brother know. So if you remember, if you're a metalhead, Anthrax and Public Enemy, Anthrax did a version of this with Public Enemy. Bring the noise. The only listener right now. Yeah, well, you know, this is what happens. I knew something was going to happen when I started playing these songs too long. That's all right. It's all right. It's about the podcast anyways. You know, people get lost in this thinking it's about the live stream. The live stream is fun, but it's all about the podcast listeners. And I'm sorry they had to catch that delay there. You know, you juggle a live stream and a podcast, and these things happen. So, yeah, that's my sixth album. Or is that my fifth album? That's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's my sixth album. Takes a nation of millions to hold us back. Toby Keith, shock you. Fuck. There is no country on my essentials list. That's for damn sure. The next one is a very eclectic pick, and it's just a great album, and it's just so unique. Essential in the sense of you just got to hear it. You got to listen to it. Another moody, very moody album by Nico Case, who was the lead singer of the New Pornographers, who had a little bit of fame in the 90s. They had a nice little run, but she left, and she went out on her own, and she just has a great, great voice, great style. And like this song. Again, it's a great moody.
Chimney falls and lovers' blaze. Thought that I
Another perfect album. And I've mentioned this album numerous times.
Freezing hands and bloodless veins, as numb as I've become. I'm so tired.
Nobody wants me to put Toby Keith on the list. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. So, she does a great version here. An Aretha Franklin cover. Amazing. If you can pull off a cover from an Aretha Franklin song, then you got some shit going on.
Everyone in town's got your number.
Running out of fools.
Everybody's got you pegged right. Is that why you got in touch with me?
Sing it.
I guess you must be running out of food.
Yeah. When you can cover an Aretha Franklin song, you got your shit going on, man. Just saying. That's another reason this is an essential album. But Nico Case Blacklisted is the name of the album, if you're keeping track. If not, that's fine. These are all really, really good fucking albums, by the way. I don't think I pick shit. Now, some people will think the Public Enemy pick was shit, and there's people out there that don't like the Smiths, and that's okay. That's okay. Like I said, it's my essential list. It's not anybody else's. So. But I suggest that these are albums that you might want to just dabble in. All right, next one. This is number 8, I think. This is my 8th album. And this is a classic, and it's an essential because they were never better. This band was never better than they were with the Rolling Stones, than they were with Mick Taylor. Mick Taylor on guitar, who took over after, what's his name, died? Brian Jones. This was their fucking launching pad when he was with them. Mick Taylor started with Get Your Ya-Ya's Out. That was the first full album he did. Sticky Fingers is the name of the album, the essential album. Sticky, not only one of the greatest album covers of all time also. And I've said this in the past, the unique thing about these album covers, it's a guy, it's a black and white, a guy from the waist down. He has like a thick leather, like a wide leather belt on. And the album cover itself, the original album cover, had a zipper, like an actual zipper made into the album cover. And when you pull the zipper down, it's just a dude's underwear. Like it's like a guy in his underwear that you would see if you opened his fly and looked, right? But the thing is, it's extremely rare and extremely hard to find one of these albums in mint condition, like absolute mint condition, the original pressings, because when they were put out, because of the kind of three-dimensional aspect of the album cover with the zipper, it would press. They would come in these, they put them in boxes, and as they get shipped, they would, these things would press up against each other, and the zipper would leave a dent sometimes in the back of the album in front of it, or it would kind of rub the inside of the sleeve, or however it played up. But it's very hard to find a mint condition original pressing of Sticky Fingers. There's been a number of reissues. This came out in 1971. There's been a number of reissues since then, but you get an original pressing. Which albums like that, it's hard to get original pressings, and if you do find them, you got to pay for them. But just another perfect album. Brown Sugar, Sway, Wild Horses, Can You Hear Me Knocking, You Gotta Move, Bitch, I Got the Blues, Sister Morphine, Dead Flowers, Moonlight Mile. I mean, front to back, top to bottom, left to right. Perfect fucking album also, I mean, come on. This, right? Come on, man. You got this. Fucking some groovy guitars, man. This. This one. Which is my favorite song on the album. Sway, baby, sway. So, that is my 8th essential album. For reasons I probably don't even have to state, if you're a Rolling Stones fan or if you're a music fan of the 70s, if you've been around that long, and it's an if you know. Sticky Fingers is a definite essential. I think that would be widely considered an essential album. Now the next album is some people would say yes, some people would say no. Some say there's only a few good tracks on it, but the fact that it was this album, when this album came out, there was nothing like it. There was really nothing like it. Big Head Todd the Wet Sprocket says, The Pursuit of Happiness, Love Junk, perfect album. Yeah, I agree. But The Clash, London Calling, came out in 79, so you're right at the cusp of, you're breaking into a whole new decade. You end the decade with with this and with London Calling, and a few years later, you come out with Combat Rock. I mean, this is again where they were at their peak, and of course, lead track. Right, we all know that one. London Calling and this. Sing it, baby. Yeah. Right? Come on, man. Come on. Right? You got this one right here. Great album. It's a 2-album set, too. Spanish Bombs. You got this. Right? I mean, how great is this fucking album? And it's an essential album because it's a turning point for them. This was the album that really launched them. Get this. It's insane how many good songs sometimes is on one album. Oh. Clamp Down, right? And then so originally this next song was not listed on the first pressing. It got thrown on at the last minute, and by the time they agreed that this was going on the album, the record company had already sent out the press, had sent out the cover art, and the albums were ready to be printed. So the cover art was already done. And they were like, well, we don't have that fucking track on the track listing on the back of the album. And the Clash were like, fuck it, put it on anyways. Hidden track, right? Hidden track, which is rare. And it was this. The hidden track. So back in the day, if you're not a boomer, right? Even if you're not a Gen Xer, if you are a Gen Xer, maybe you do, maybe you don't know. We'd listen to these albums, and we didn't have any. We would stare at the album cover. We'd read it. We'd fucking memorize the album cover, right? And so what was it? What do you think it was like when you were looking at the album cover and you're like, okay, last song is Revolution Rock, right? Okay. So this is kind of how it played out. So Revolution Rock, right? And song ends, you're like, all right.
Bongo jams and specialities.
All right. You're like, that's a good album. Fucking good album. You're like, what? Wait, what? Like, what the fuck just happened? Right? Like, well, where'd this song come from? And it's a fucking good song. You're like, it's a fucking good song. Where'd this come from? It was like Christmas. It was like a late Christmas present. And again, it's a fucking great song. It's not like it's like this okay song. You think the song's over, and you're like, and then you start looking. You run your finger down you're like, where? It stops at this. Why is this here? And then you think it's the coolest thing in the world. Then you go tell your friends. And probably some of your friends could give a fuck about the Clash. They're like, yeah, great. You're like, no, dude, listen. Because a hidden track is rare. It's fucking rare. They don't like doing that. Record companies don't do that shit. Once it became a thing, they maybe did it on purpose at certain times. But there are very, very few albums that have hidden tracks on them. And if they are, most of the time it's a mistake. And it gets fixed because the second pressing of this album has Train in Vain as the last song on the album. So that's one of those things. If you're a record junkie, you're a vinyl junkie, and you're out looking, and you go look for a Clash album, right? Go look for London Calling, and see if that if the last song on the track is Revolution Rock. And if that's the last song on your on that pressing of London Calling that you're looking at, well, get it, because there's the hidden track is on that one. You know, they only pressed so many of them. It's not worth, like I said, nobody's getting rich off of their record collection. That was the thing. And you've heard me say this a number of times over the last 170 episodes, is vinyl became a thing probably around, it had a big revival somewhere around 2015, I want to say. It started to kind of, it caught a little bit of like, ooh, vinyl. And then this little resurgence happened and people were like, oh, I have a lot of albums. And they start thinking they're really worth something. I always said it's not like a Mickey Mantle rookie card where you're gonna get, you know, or a Nolan Ryan rookie card, which was like worth $1,800 at one point. No, they're fucking records. There's nothing special in there. It's just a matter of what condition were they in, and were you using them, right? So were you using them? No. Then what are you going to do with them, right? Now you hoard them. You're like, oh, I got albums. You know, do you have a turntable? No, I haven't had a turntable since 83. When I graduated college and I got, yeah, and then because CDs came along, right? And all of a sudden the 90s CDs come along and you don't listen to your albums and you think they're not worth. Then this little thing comes up and boom, here I am. I got albums. And, you know, but there was a lot of smart people that said, oh, Scott listens to albums. I'll send him my collection. And I took them and I play them. And yeah. And they're displayed. They're not hidden in a closet, in a basement, in an attic. You know, they're displayed. People get to touch them and look at them and look at old album art. And that's what it is. Right? All right. So that was my, let me see. I have one left. I have one album left, and this is going to take me right up to an hour. So I did an hour show. Good. And about 7 minutes of that was me trying to figure out I know why Facebook took me down. It got claimed right away. But this album right here, this was a tough one. This was a tough one. Like the Rolling Stones, like Sticky Fingers. I originally was going, like, my pick was Some Girls. Because that album really like took off. That really changed their direction. Also, they deviated from, their traditional kind of really hard bluesy rock, and they had like Miss You on there. Miss You was kind of a disco song, right? But the whole album was very raw, very stripped down. Some Girls was. But Sticky Fingers is the album. It's the essential album of their collection, I think. Some might say Get Your Yayas Out. Some might say other things. Now, if you notice, none of these albums are best ofs or greatest hits. That's too easy. Like, I could do a list of what's your favorite greatest hits. I actually think I did an episode, like in episode 20 or something. So it's at 150 episodes ago. Maybe I'll do that one again. My top 10 favorite best ofs or greatest hits albums, which is basically the band that you like, right? It's like the top 10 bands that you like. But this album right here it's a banger. It's a banger, and it's this. So it's really hard to pick a Led Zeppelin album. That's a set. Like, they're all Led Zeppelin 1, Led Zeppelin 2. Now, maybe Physical Graffiti they have a lot more songs, and they're more polished in this version. But, you can't, is every Led Zeppelin album an essential album? Could I say that? Is it safe to say? Right? It's a question. So, I don't know. I don't know, but this album, I teeted between 1 and 2, and I came up with this one. And it's Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, which I think a lot of people widely consider their best album. And again, it's a 2-album set, so there's a lot more to choose from on it. So, yeah, I got Trampled Underfoot. This one right here. This is a banger right here. This is a banger of a song. This got it's got a funky sound to it. This is like way off their chart. The Rover. Like that could be a hip hop beat. Think of that. That could be a hip hop beat. I could see this being sampled, but they never would. Just that loop right there could be a whole fucking hip hop song. But I think my favorite song off this album, and I always go after, like I always choose the not most popular song because it's a popular song and I do like those songs. I always look for something different. I always look for what's that standout song that like it's just, and it would be on Physical Graffiti, it would be this. Just that build up. Just that. Plus, I love synthesizers. I love these organs. In the Light. Song 1, side, or disc 2, the second album. Yeah, so those are my top 10 essential albums. I hope you liked them. Sorry for the little delay in the middle of the show. Juggling a live stream and a podcast. It's not easy. This shit happens sometimes. You get these delays. And I got kicked off of my live stream on Facebook. And probably, I think I'm still on YouTube. So, there's that. But, yeah. So, that's it. Did my show. I went to church. This is my church. And I look forward to it every Thursday evening. It's always good to just get whatever's going on in your life. Just fucking get in and talk about music. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I get to do it every Thursday night. And I've been doing it for 170 episodes. That's fucking amazing. 170. Like, the average podcast doesn't last more than 6 episodes. For various reasons. But I never chase the money on this. I don't want to chase the money because then it's not fun anymore. Because of business. And I don't want to do this as a business. I get enough downloads and I get enough people listening where I could probably get a sponsor, but I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do it. I used to do a sponsor on this. It was a freebie. I gave it to them for free. And it's because I thought, hey, what the hell? I don't care. But, yeah, so thanks for coming to church. Bam. 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 There you go. Hey. Right? It's a good song to go out on. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Well, watching half the show. The other half got shut down, but that's okay. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your dedication, as I say, my cult following for this podcast. As I always say, if you like it, share it. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Tell people about it. I don't know. Whatever. After 170 episodes, do what you want with it. But thanks for listening. And as I always say, doing this show for you, to quote my favorite artist, Morrissey, the pleasure,
as I was relieved before you too,
the privilege,
as you would for me,
is mine.
share your love. Let me share your love.
Yeah, baby. Show it, baby.
Ooh, let me share.
Yeah. All right, everybody. I'll see you next week. See you next Thursday night. Hopefully it doesn't get shut down again. I just want to finish it with him screaming, "In the light." I can do that. That sounds just like him.